I was thinking this morning because the Baylor possible NFL draftees, they're just not a ton of like heat around them, right? And to the point where, I'm not a draft analyst. I've called a couple Baylor football games, but like I don't have a real pulse on, the prospects in this draft class for them. So I asked Swingler to put together a list because he's the Baylor guy. And he knows Baylor football and the team inside and out. Of course, please bear with me. You can listen to on Sundays on the Rogue Media Network. That's Terrence Ganaway and Scotty Swingler, former Baylor football star Terrence Ganaway, and they break down Baylor history. Where's your bracket at?
We are headed. We are trying to determine the Final Four. And then, honestly, I'll just give you some inside baseball. I haven't announced this yet. I think we're going to hold the Final Four until the fall.
Ooh!
I think we've got about an episode or two left in us before we break for the summer, and we might just hold on.
You're going to have a lot of other stuff to talk about in the fall, right?
I do know.
All right. That may be here I am the program director. You might want to do a special show around the summertime to do the Final Four.
Maybe we need to. Scotty B's trying to guess my list.
All right, so Baylor, but this isn't the best of all time, Scotty B.
No.
We will talk about.
Scotty B's got it right. He's guessing. He says maybe Garmin Randolph, Steve Linton.
Okay, Steve Linton I saw being kicked around. Give me your list, Scotty.
You want the list? Okay.
Yeah.
You asked for the list. Here's the list. This is my top 5 NFL-ready Baylor Bears going into tonight.
Okay.
Steve Linton is clearly, I think, the one guy who could very well be drafted. Probably like a 6th-round grade at this point. But, like, you saw it on the field last year. Like when he was in the game and healthy, he was truly a disruptive edge.
Yeah.
I think he's a value pick. Like I think if he even goes 4th or 5th, I think you're getting good value. I think he really has the juice to play in the league. Trevin Mai, who we had last week for an excellent interview, I think is also a really, really legitimate guy who can make an NFL roster as a defensive lineman. Again, has all the tools. I think has the work ethic. I will say before I go through the rest of the list, those are the 2 that I think very well can make an NFL roster. This is one of Baylor's weaker draft classes.
Oh, for sure. That's why we're doing this, because
I don't say that to disparage these other guys.
No, not at all. But that's why we're doing this, because I want people to know.
I anticipate these next 3 will not get drafted. If they do, we'll be thrilled for them and cheer for them.
Yeah.
I do anticipate they will get signed quickly after the draft concludes and could also make a roster. Campbell Barrington, I think people forget. The big thing for him is he's played like 3 different line spots at Baylor.
Okay.
You could see that as a flaw. I think NFL teams are going to like that he can play guard. He came to Baylor as a tackle. I think he's probably got a shot to make a roster as a guard. I think that's real potential. Matt Jones, I think has a funny legacy at Baylor because on one hand, where did he finish in tackles for the program?
I don't know.
I think he finished number 1 in like games played because he's a 6th-year senior with the COVID stuff and all that. I think he probably finished top 10 in tackles. But I always felt, and I'd be interested in anybody watching's opinion, I always felt that Matt Jones' best position was as an edge. When he was a freshman and sophomore at Baylor, he was violently disruptive as an edge player, and then they kind of turned him into this middle linebacker, and he was good, but I never felt like he was just a dominant middle linebacker. He was not Terrell Bernard. He was not Bryce Hager, if any Baylor fans want to go back with me 10 years, 15 years. So I just wonder where he fits on an NFL roster. Granted, I didn't know Blake Lynch was going to make the NFL as a linebacker, and he ended up playing in the NFL for like 3 years. So very well, Matt Jones could get drafted.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah, tell me.
That's my long shot. I'm going to make a guarantee that he's going to be on an NFL roster.
Let's go.
I think he's a guy that will get in camp, and I think people will be like, wow. I think that's who Matt Jones is. I believe that. And I hope that too, but I think he is one of those dudes who's going to end up in a camp and it's going to be really hard for a coach to get rid of. He's going to give them a million reasons to keep him. And I think that at the very least, he's a practice squad guy.
Yeah.
with an NFL team.
And I would honestly guess if practice squads are what we're talking about, I think all these guys are that are that potential level.
I don't know about Snacks, to be honest.
Here's why I put Snacks.
Snacks
on
is a favorite of mine.
Here's why I put Snacks on here.
Yeah.
Because I really debated putting Snacks on here. Garmin Randolph I thought about putting on here. Gavin Byers I thought about putting on here as this fifth spot. Mm-hmm. There is a growing, and Jalen Petrie is probably the best at it in the NFL, and I think more and more teams are looking for this. There's a growing need for secondary players who can play close to the line of scrimmage but still be really, really good in coverage as well.
There you go, yeah.
They are looking for more and more of those hybrid. Some teams are going to call them a nickel corner. Some teams are going to call them a third safety. But more and more NFL teams are not playing three linebackers on those sets, right? You've got usually your four on the defensive line. You've got two backers.
What the hell is the position? I can't think of it. The position that Baylor has to call. They don't call it a monster. They call it.
Oh, at one point it was called bear.
It's not a jack.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I should know this because I had this argument with someone of who should play for Baylor next season. But my point is, I think Snacks has a unique skill set where he could Star. Thank you, Scotty B.
Star. Yeah.
I think Snacks has a unique skill set where he can be that nickel corner in the NFL. I don't think he's a put him on an island and cover their best receiver corner. I don't think he's a safety in the NFL, but I think with the right team, I think the team that signs him is going to know, here's what we're getting, here's where he could fit. I think he could be a dark horse to make a roster.
I'm surprised you didn't do a little CYA, cover your ass, and just put Garmin Randolph on there, just in case. Because if there's one dude, here's another prediction of mine, right?
Let's go.
If there's one dude on this that played for Baylor last year that no one is talking about at all, clearly, Scotty doesn't even have him on the list of the 5 best potential NFL players in the weakest class of all time. So we're talking about we're reaching for guys. He has the ability to be a star in the NFL.
No, he doesn't.
He does.
No, he doesn't.
Pete,
I'm gonna here's a please bear with me preview for this fall. To open, please bear with me. We're gonna do some preseason awards.
Yeah.
One of those awards that my buddies and I have been giving out for over 10 years now is called the Jay Lee Award.
Yeah.
Baylor fans will remember Jay Lee was a very, very highly touted receiver coming out of high school. He was 6'4", big, could run a 4.4 40. He had all the tangibles.
Garmin 6'8".
I'm going to finish Pete. I'm going to finish. I let you finish. I'm going to finish.
All right.
Jay had all the tangibles. Check. And every year before August, this is going to be Jay Lee's year. Jay Lee's going to be the number 1 receiver in the Big 12. Jay Lee, at his best, was very good for Baylor.
Yeah.
And he was like a good number 3, okay number 2 receiver for Baylor for a couple years. Couldn't stick in the NFL. For 4 years, I've been listening to people talk about how good Garmin Randolph is going to be because he's so tall and he's so athletic and Pete, he was mediocre at Baylor. He made some really good plays. He made some
amazing.
He made a couple of really outstanding plays. He did.
Yeah.
But he was never dominant on the defensive line. He cannot get past a bigger offensive lineman. Strength and perhaps I don't know. I don't know the guy. I don't go to practice. I don't know the guy.
Tenacity as a person, maybe.
That's kind of yes. Yeah. I don't he's one of those people. Here you go. Bear the Truth says Randolph doesn't have the dog to play at the next level.
He doesn't, but man,
Matt Jones has the dog. I don't. Again, I'm not going to talk about a guy's mentality or character. I don't know that.
I got you.
But here's what I know.
Good dude.
I know for 4 years he was my Jay Lee Award winner, and that it was he's going to be so good. Oh, you just have no idea. We're going to move him over here. Oh, he's going to play this spot. Oh, he's going to do that. Yeah. He was fine.
Yeah.
He's an adequate starter in the Big 12. He's not an NFL player.
Come on, Garmin.
That's why he's not on my list.
Come on, Garmin.
And we can argue about this till the sun goes down, and then in August we'll see where he's at.
I don't think he'll be anywhere. But I'm saying if there's
you just said you thought he was
I said he has the potential.
You said NFL NFL star.
I said the potential because I said if there's one guy in this class,
I already convinced him.
If there's one guy in this class who could just burst onto the scene and it would make a little bit of sense,
It's
it would be
Steve
him.
Linton.
Okay, Steve Linton first. Garmer Randolph second.